Greetings, YouTubers. In my last episode, I started to mention about War Thunder's game mechanics and some of the issues I have had that have caused the game, in my opinion, to be completely freaking broken. But there's more to it than just that. Now, excuse me. Now, an example of other things that are pretty cool about it are certain vehicles, from what I understand, like this one LTV over here, this American vehicle. There's other ones as well that actually work in water as well. You can actually take this thing out in the water and do battles there, which is pretty cool in my opinion. You know, it's nice. No one's gone there yet in any of these tank MMOs. No one said, all right, it's a vehicle that can be used on land or water. That's cool. I give it credit. Now everyone is probably been asking, if they have not heard of this title before, how exactly does this game actually work on how it plays when you're playing it? Is it like World of Tanks and Armored Warfare, where you get shot, you're shot, either the shell hits you and takes some life off, or the shell bounces, or whatever the tactic is that most people are referring this to. Anywho, this game is, how do I put this, there is no life bars. One hit usually means you're dead, and that makes the game extremely punishing. I actually hate it. I actually hate that gameplay mechanic where you could be driving one of the heaviest armored tanks in the game, and someone lesser of a rank shoots you, and if they know where to shoot, you're dead. All the armor in the world doesn't mean crap. If they know where to shoot, you're dead. Because usually, I would say about 60% of the times when I played, I was dead with a single shot. The other percentages are either, I would say, 25% of the times, if I'm not dead with one hit, I am literally clinging to life, where most of my crew members are dead already, or my tank's on fire, or you take a hit and something goes wrong, and I mean, literally, if you get hit in this game, it's over. It doesn't really matter where you get hit, from what I have noticed. And it seems only to matter what you're fighting against and where you hit versus where the enemy usually hits you. I know this doesn't make sense, but I've played enough to know. Any shot that I played in, specifically like in the Panzer IV F2, I take a shot in that thing, it's over. But I have placed shots, multiple shots into enemies, and have bounced or have done practically no damage. And the game punishes you for making the most minor of mistakes. And when I say punish, I mean we're gonna wipe your tank out completely, and there you go. Another thing I have to mention is that, unlike World of Tanks here, these two games, I cannot stress enough, World of Tanks, Armored Warfare, and War Thunder. World of Tanks is more common with Armored Warfare than it does with War Thunder. War Thunder is completely a different type of game. Sure, they have similar tanks and whatnot, but they're miles apart from each other. They couldn't be more different. So if you're looking for a new experience and you're getting tired of World of Tanks or Armored Warfare, you can give this thing a try if you like to be punished. If you're a sick sadomasochist who likes to sit there and put himself or herself through hell, I would suggest this title. You'll be at home here. I mean, literally, slightest mistake and you're dead. You get tracked, you're dead. And that's all I can say is, you're dead. The minute you hit to battle right up here, you're sucked into a match, and all it usually takes is one hit from the enemy. That's all. Now, one thing I do have to mention about dying is, as you can see over here on the bottom, over here on this little wheel, this carousel wheel, I guess you would call it, but we have two different types of tanks. And yes, before anyone says, can you take them both into combat? Yes, you can. These two right now are also reserve tanks for another tank. Basically, if you die in this tank, you have the option to get in to the other tank in your inventory. And this keeps going and going. I don't know how you only have 3 chances in the game to play. I think there might be a way of having 4 if you have like a possible reserve vehicle, multiple reserve on it. I think. I've never done it myself, and frankly, I don't have the time to dick around with something like that. But, yes, if you're driving your favorite tank and you're trying to upgrade all the stuff on it, and you die in combat in the first 2 minutes, well, that tank's gone. Any points you got are directed right to that tank. And then you have the option to say, hey, I'm going to take the other tank out if I want, if I have another tank. Which, I kind of like that, you know, in a sense. Armored Warfare recently released a patch that allows for the game mode of Global Ops, where you have unlimited respawns in the tank you're in, which is pretty kick-ass, you know? If you're trying to grind through a tank over there and you just load in the Global Ops, pick the tank you want, and you just keep playing, assuming you can get enough respawn tokens or cards or however that system runs. I'll be honest, I play the game more than World of Tanks and this combined, but I have yet to try Global Ops. I don't know why. I mean, something I have to try before that new patch comes out over there. That's going to be epic. Anyway, this is about War Thunder right now. But yes, all it takes is one hit to die. You make one mistake and you're dead. Simple as that. You're dead. And you'll be seeing you're dead a lot. And it's way too easy to be killed in this game. Armor, it's non-existent. It is literally non-existent. I've had matches where players that know the map, who've been playing the game for many years, go to certain locations on maps, park their vehicle there, and just wait for you to come by, which most of the times has to happen if it's just like a busy intersection or something. They'll sit there, wait, fire, you're dead. It puts you at a huge disadvantage of them knowing the layout of the land and everything, and where to go, and where most people and players go on maps. And this leads to another issue I have noticed in the game, is the amount of snipers that are in this game is disgusting. These Ridge Warriors is what I'd like to call them, can sit literally behind 3 hills, 17 bushes, a farmhouse, and a partridge in a pear tree, snipe your ass, and you're dead. And you wouldn't have possibly even seen them. I mean, you might see their name in arcade battle, and might be a nice bright colored red you're looking at, but if you zoom in on that guy, as far as your telescopic view can go, you'll notice that this player is literally showing something like 1/1,000,000th of a pixel of their tank, really? of their tank for you to shoot at, yet he has full access of shooting you. And I think it's bullshit. I really do. It's not how tank warfare should be. I feel like The person should be a sniper more than in a tank. But then again, this reflects the issue of one shot and you're dead, does it not? Why else would people be cowering behind 3 hills using only a fraction of their tank to do that? Another thing I have to mention that's worthwhile is, I know a lot of people like to get a computer game like this and run it max on everything. Nice graphics, nice everything, and run it like that. And frankly, that's what you're supposed to do. If you got the system power to do it, go for it. The game looks beautiful. I give Gaijin that. The game looks beautiful. But there are some players, unfortunately, have found a way of screwing the system right over. Now, Gaijin trying to make the game playable for all types of ranges of computers, no matter their age, have the options. Here, let me see if I can bring this up here. Game options, graphics, where you can remove all of these things: grass range, particle density, tree range, terrain quality, all sorts of this stuff here. If you take it and drop it down to nothing, guess what? In game, there will be nothing. And if you do that, you have a huge edge. While the grass in this game tends to be like waist high or taller, it seems, in certain spots. If you take your that grass slider and drop it down to nothing, guess what? No grass. You'll see a performance increase and whatnot, sure. But at the same time, there are people that can run this game that do this only to have an edge over you and other players. If you remove the complexity of the grass, the bushes, trees, you have a very flat, wide open area to work with. Now, in this game, you're going to be in a lot of wilderness areas, not many city maps. So, a lot of wilderness areas, lots of hills, lots of damn hills. And you throw the grass and the bushes on top, it gets kind of complicated on how well you'll be able to target your enemy and shoot fire. Now, you take that all away, and you're fighting someone that has that ability to remove all that stuff, that knows how to play the game, that's been playing it for years, removes all this stuff. Their system can handle it, by the way, and they choose to remove it all. Guess what? They have an advantage over you now. And that's what I think some of these Ridge Warriors are actually doing as well. When they're showing 1/1,000,000th of a pixel of their tank, and they're able to shoot with pinpoint accuracy. I mean, they lock on. I mean, just like mere nanoseconds. They lock right onto you. And that's it. You are dead. And if you don't see them or you overlook them and you stop for a second, you're dead. You can still be moving and be dead. I've had times where I've been driving around this huge embankment of rocks, and I just came right around, and just as I mean, literally, a fraction of my tank was showing around the corner, and a shell hit me and knocked me out. And I'm talking like bullshit type of aiming or anything. I mean, the guy knew where I was, and pow, just like that. Knew when to fire the exact second I came around the corner. It wasn't even like a second. I was going at top speed of the tank, and I was just making the turn, and all that was showing was my drive sprocket. He hit the drive sprocket. I was dead. The match was like maybe a minute old, and I was dead already. When I come back, there's something else I have to mention. I'll see you in the next episode.